We'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is finally here, the video that I have been waiting for so long. The first albino egg has pipped. So in just a minute, we're going to go in and check on that egg and transfer it into the other bin where that baby can fully hatch. And then we'll check in on the other 8 eggs and see how close they are. But I'm in my garage right now, and it has been, I don't want to say an overly cold winter, but it's been cold, and on the days when it's not overly cold, it's been cloudy, and there really hasn't been too many days where I've been able to roll the babies outside. And I've had to put additional heat lamps in the garage just to heat the ambient room temperature to give them enough warmth to digest their food. But they're out sunbathing. They had some mangrove snapper yesterday because they did have a little bit of outside time. I want to show you guys how big, you know, the one that I coined as Bubba is getting so big. Still not decided. I mean, he's got to be a male, right? He's going through a shed, so you see that brown haze on what was a very bright yellow and black color. Now it's very brown and not so yellow. They're all going through a good shed right now. Of course, I opened one of the cages. That's more difficult. Let's see if one of the babies that has shed, getting ready to shed. Not sunning, or maybe just, oh, sunning here. Oh, so this is my favorite of the black dragons. If I put my hand in there, it will run to my hand to get food. It's been eating out of my hand. Yeah, so all of the guru sulfurs are going through a shed, and actually so are all the black dragons. Let me see if I can get my hand in there. I didn't fill them up on mangrove snapper, so they're gonna have some gizzards today. You can see the sheds coming off. A little excitable, but they're getting extra warm right now, and again, they're not used to the camera going in there. And this is the smallest black dragon of all the babies, probably the female, but you know, they're just out there enjoying their shelter. Oh, just realized that I had the stinking camera pointed at it and got defensive. Let's go inside. Oh, and I also have food thawing to hit some of the grown-ups. So maybe in this same video, we'll see, check in on some of your favorites. Now, I think, now this is the male albino, that next break we get, we're ready for another cage upgrade. I would say he's now at 4 feet. You can see he's ready for a meal. I'm ready to update the cage yet again. And maybe we'll get a shot of him all sprawled out. And the female, she has been, I'd say she's 2.5 weeks away from laying, and then just all of a sudden started getting chunky again. So she seems to cycle very fast after laying her eggs. So I think she is close to cycling. Now, last time, she wasn't happy with the lay box, and I didn't hit them exceptionally hard with food or anything like that. So we only got the 5 eggs. No bad eggs, but she only developed 5 instead of the 9 that she did both other times. This garage isn't as warm as the shop at the other house, just the ambient temperature in there. So that could have had something to do with it. There could be a bunch of factors. The Dumerles are doing really well. My niece Jovi is going for a scout badge. Is it just, yeah, it's called the Scouts now, since it's all inclusive. And she's going for a reptile and amphibian badge, and she was supposed to observe a reptile for a period of 3 months. And we'll move this fake plant, which I allow them to get in and out. So they still have a little bit of that mangrove snapper there. And they're kind of crammed up behind the water. These guys are so calm. Let me see. I've never seen even a neck puff out of them. But they're just so pretty, so calm. That male is always swimming. And the female is sitting there. You can see the difference in size with the two. No, not in the mood for the water right now. Try and put that back without putting it on them. Put their plant back, close them up. And I also, you know, the rock monitors need, I think, even a little more heat. Even though I think they're a little more cold tolerant, they definitely were the least happy about their temperatures. The water monitors were fine, eating, maybe processing their food a little slower. I moved the white throats back to this aquarium. So all three of them are in there. They are growing really fast. Now you can see the head of just the female. If the male comes out, maybe when we feed, you'll get to see him a little later. I bet you that's him right there. You can see his head's a lot bigger. See? Yeah, you can see that there's a massive size difference in his head. Then that other one is a question mark for me. One obvious female, an obvious male, and then a question mark. But I keep saying to myself and maybe my close friends, I need to call Aaron. I don't know if I need 6 white throats. That if it's okay with him, I may resell these babies. I may even sell, and if anyone's interested, the black dragon that we called Norm, because I don't need to raise up 2 males, and one of the Guru sulfurs. I'm only going to hold back 2 of those. So I think I'm only going to hold on to 4 out of those 6 animals out there. I need to be reasonable about everything. But let's walk inside. Come on, Pete. If he doesn't come in with me, he's going to be barking to come in. Come on, boy. The house is still without furniture. I'm trying to, we have 2 12-foot dining room tables at the other house, one inside, one outside. I'm trying to get one of them. I'm trying in the next 2 weeks to finally get a sofa in here. It's, I feel like I'm camping out in this house. But all right, we're walking into the office and let's see if we can't get what we need. So this is gonna be one of the bins that we're gonna hatch out, a lid for it. And even this room's a mess, but I plan on doing built-in cabinetry and countertop on this wall. You know, that file cabinet was in the house when I bought it, so I'll do it all built in and nice. And then I think I only have a little bit more touch-up paint and then all that leaves the house. And I cannot wait for this house to start looking like a house. But let's see. I'll put the light on and you can see that egg in the back. I can't see it through the camera. So let's hold on 1 second and let me grab it out and close this back. Okay. So, well, you should know, like say about a week ago, the eggs started sweating. And when I say sweating, we had the saran wrap over this lid and then the plastic lid over that. And there was condensation, just like you could see on the side, everywhere all of a sudden, dripping off the lid and everything. And I was told by my good friend CJ at Monitor Ops and Exotics to start opening the lid every day and letting out some of that moisture. That's part of the process of getting them to hatch. I hadn't done that before, but when I saw that condensation building up, I didn't want it to be too much because you could see the condensation was on the outside of the eggs. And normally they probably need to get rid of some of that moisture to dimple a little bit. Usually the eggs dimple a little bit before they crack. Now these haven't. I don't see a dimple on any one of them, but this is the one that you can see the crack right there. So there is an albino inside there. And I almost see where a crack is about to form on that one. I don't see anything on any of the other eggs. But this is literally 2 days after I removed the film that this happened. So I imagine they're all gonna happen fast. Now, today is January 9th, and they were due 6 months was January 6th. And every clutch I've produced out of my Sea Serpents incubator has been literally 6 months to the day at 85 degrees, like to the day. So amazingly precise. So I think I'm going to nip just a little window just so we can see a little bit. Obviously not gonna force this guy out. And what I think we need to do is, I don't want the first baby. Now we had this problem with the black dragons. We had that last clutch, the first baby that hatched out and moved some of the other eggs. And I actually had 2 babies that drowned in their eggs. They were slow to hatch, slow to hatch. They were fully formed, perfect babies, and they didn't hatch because maybe their egg got rolled at the last second. So I am not gonna take a chance of an egg that is ready to hatch and leaving it in there with another egg that is ready to hatch. And even if I have, say, 2 that are ready to hatch, that, you know, the shell is breaking down, I will nestle them in that sphagnum moss really well. So there's no chance that the baby that comes out first has any chance of messing up the other baby. So I think first things first, we're gonna grab some of this moss out. This is just some, oh gosh, that came out the bottom of that bag. Well, I guess I'm gonna be vacuuming. No, I had to vacuum. Oh, is this breaking down in the bag? It's a lot of small bits, whereas it's usually, yeah, look at that. Easy open and close, and I open it from the top and it's pouring out the side. Now this is spring water that has been in the incubator, so it's already at the temperature we want. It's already at the temperature the babies are getting used to with the perfect 85 degrees, so. Moss really drinking up that water. Okay, so there's some water. It'll be able to find water to drink, but it'll also be able to bury into this moss. I want to make it a little higher on this side so I can set that egg in a little spot. Once more start happening, obviously I would want more moss in that bin. You have, once one hatches out, 2 hatch out, everything that comes out of the egg with them ends up in there, and I have to keep changing the moss. So there's no need for just the first one to make it so heavy on moss. It may actually be changed before the third one comes out or something. So give me 1 second and I'll put that little window in that egg so we can see and get the other ones back in the incubator. All right, we're gonna carefully take this egg. Ooh, I could see the real pretty albino colors. Brilliant pink and yellow. And these are very pointy scissors. Let's see. There you go. If you guys are seeing, look at the colors. Is that amazing? I always forget it's a GoPro and there's no focusing in on that. That's incredible. I cannot believe that I'm producing these. Oh, I had our window. I would love to leave that. I cannot wait till we see a face. Could you imagine if that's today, guys? Okay, now we're not going to force this baby out. Is the camera? There you go. Now I know you can see those, the pink with the brilliant yellow spots. I think it's going to be today. And hopefully we have 1 or 2 more eggs pipping also today. So I'm going to get them back in the incubator ASAP. And we'll have an update a little later. All right, guys, it's the next morning. As of last night, that one baby had its tail out of the egg, but still hadn't made its way out. There is one egg that is now cracked and barely cracked. And then another one that is now starting to dent, which means they're all getting close, which is very exciting. What was extra exciting was this morning, I went in there and I saw the egg moved inside the container. I'm like, yes, it hatched. And I popped the lid and it wasn't in there. And I don't know if I explained this before, but I had this problem with the incubator that I should have solved right away. And I'm gonna open it up. Now, it's probably not a problem with the proper containers in there, the incubation trays and stuff like that. But I feel like the lid is snapped shut, and I've had escaped lizards in the incubator. And there is this little area right here, and then the heat tape grid is behind that wall, and the lizards find their way up. So I had to, thank God the albino was only in here, but it had escaped. You could see its little trail, and it made its way up there. And I said last time that I was going to put some wire there and tape it in so the air flows perfect, but an animal can't find its way in there. And how stupid of me to not handle that before. You know, what a very stressful first interaction, having to get a baby out of that situation. It's not a good way to start with an animal. I moved the Waterland tub, and you remember we set this out for the demurrals for them to swim around in, and they really enjoy it in the sun, having their time. But if you guys give me a second, I'm gonna put our new baby in there. And then, while it is enjoying that, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do with that wire and that wood and that tape to fix that hole in the back of the incubator, or that little passageway. And then I think I'll let you guys enjoy the monitor while I do the hard work of bending and everything. And then we'll tape it in. But just give me 1 second and I'll get that new baby out. Okay, guys, and what a perfect tub to show you this new baby, because an albino really shows up well on black. Let's see if I can. I was just holding it. Maybe I need a little more water in there. There's our new baby. Look at those perfect patterns. Very calm. Oh, look at it. That water's so nice and warm. That baby's very happy in there, exploring its first time. It's beautiful. It really is. I think I'm gonna get a little more water depth in there. It's so comfortable swimming already. I do have some more warm water to put in there for it. So what I'm gonna do is, for that space, there is that piece of I want to call it starboard, but it's, is it PVC board or something like that? It's a little more porous, obviously, than starboard. That sticks out. So the bottom part that bends can only come out like 1.5 inches or 1 inch. And then it can go up the wall a little bit. So I'm gonna measure the width of the incubator at its back. And then I'm gonna cut a piece to that width. It would be great if it was 24, but I believe it's somewhere around 30 inches. So I may have to go the other way. And then I will use that piece of wood to bend it up or bend against it. And then I'll have a perfect ridged 90-degree piece to tape in there. So what I think I'm gonna do is just set the camera up for you guys to enjoy the baby. I'm gonna do that work and then I'll show you the finished product. Still doing good. Submerged right away when you saw me come over. Oh yeah. You're taking off through the water, buddy. Very pretty ocelli. Beautiful little baby. I'll take you guys away from it for a moment to see the piece of screen that I now have bent using that piece of wood. See, it's bent at a 90 degrees. This is actually a much smaller version of what I do for the chicken coops to stop animals from digging in. That's the wall of the coop. I have it go up the wall of the coop 6 inches and then out 18 inches around the coop, and I put the sod over that. And that's what stops any rodents or raccoons or possums or anything from being able to dig into the coop. So we'll be doing that on a much larger scale in the weeks ahead. I am ready to get my chicks and get them started, since we're gonna have that period of time where they're not laying. Obviously, so that's gonna go sit just like that. Get it fit in there nice and tight. Then we're gonna tape it down on the back, and I'll even put some on the sides there so it fits nice and tight. But and then I think even that in itself would solve our problem. So let me get that taped down and I'll show you it totally done. And you guys can go back to enjoying this, which is what's gonna be hard for me not to hang out with that little guy for the rest of the day. Okay, now it's totally taped in there, and you guys can see, minus the shadow on that camera, that it's now a covered vent. Airflow is going to be the same, just no baby lizards can get past it. So I'm going to put the two bottom shelves back in, and then we need to transfer that next egg into that little hatching box. Maybe I'm going to wait till it pips a little more, because I still will put this youngster back in there, and I don't want it to roll the egg. I did have that problem before. Or maybe I need to have two boxes. One's about to hatch, and one for the ones that have hatched out. Actually, I think I will do that. So we'll set up another box. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, I finished setting up that tray, but when I pulled the egg tray out, it looked more like a dark line than a crack. So I think I was getting a little overly excited about it. It's not quite ready. The one that's dimpling maybe should be next. But this guy has been enjoying his swim. Let's see. I've been picking him up. I took a couple pictures for friends. Oof. The water is starting to cool off, so I want to get him back into his incubator box and let him. It looks like his yolk is totally absorbed. He's totally good to go. So maybe in 2 more days, we can try and introduce crickets. But this in itself is big enough for this video. This is very exciting. I mean, all babies are exciting, but these guys couldn't have hatched at a better time, because this is gonna be my saving grace. This is cage materials. This is chicken coop materials, aerator for the pond. Like, these are the things that are gonna financially make this property happen. I don't know if I explained this before. I might have mistakenly said something or hinted about it, but I actually had one of Erica's friend's husbands invest. She mentioned this to him and he was excited about it. I guess he invests in all sorts of different stuff. So I actually had an investor in these, and so I owe him 50% of this clutch, and well, make him whole, and then 50%, and then, which I've already paid back most of his risk. He's just got a little out there. And then 10% on the next clutch is the deal that we renegotiated for, after he needed some of his risk back. But so I don't get all the money from this, but it's not going to require all of it to buy what we need. But a beautiful, very calm baby, and in a couple days we'll have a video with the first feeding and hopefully more of its brothers and sisters out. So super cool. I'm gonna get it back into the incubator where it can enjoy that perfect 85 degrees and bury into this wet sphagnum moss. That's what it's going to want to do. In fact, this has cooled off quite a bit sitting out here, so I do need to get that back in the incubator. It needs to stay at that constant temperature. But I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you soon.